All right, welcome to the show, everybody. Today we have another special interview for you from Coleman, Wisconsin, multi-time state champ track star, Josh Pillath.
There goes that man's jockstrap. Oh my God, did you see that?
America's team? Yeah, right.
Oh, baby, it's a big day in sports. There's nothing like battling it out with your teammates all season long to go win a championship. Green Bay's got it this year. Huge move for them. I think it's going to be a game changer.
We have a lot to talk about this busy week in the sports world. Welcome to the In a League of Their Own podcast.
How's it going, man?
Pretty good.
Yeah, glad to have you on here. So just to kind of kick things off here, just tell us a little bit about your background, where you're from, and we'll just start with that.
All right. Well, Josh Pillath. I went to high school in Coleman, Wisconsin, and just basically, I guess, track and field's my big thing. You know, that's why I'm here. But I just started off in that in middle school, and it just kind of got better from there. And I competed at the Division I level, and yeah, pretty much.
So, like you said, track is kind of where you started. At what point, I guess, growing up, did you realize, okay, I got something going here. This could turn into something?
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, obviously at Coleman we were wrestlers, and that's what, I'm 6'8", and I wrestled because that's what you have to do. And I was pretty serious about that. I was serious about football. But track and field, always middle school, and then freshman year in high school, I was never serious about it. I was kind of just go to practice and kind of fuck off the whole time, you know what I mean? And but yeah, my sophomore year, I kind of, I just realized like, hey, I'm pretty damn good, and I started taking it a little bit more seriously, and just went from there and did some big things.
I guess one thing, it's not really a question, but I guess something, obviously, kind of growing up with you and your brother in your backyard, you guys had your little slab of concrete, and you made like a throwing circle and stuff with it, and you made goalposts and stuff. Obviously, having stuff like that, especially growing up where we did, do you think that kind of, I guess, gave you an advantage in health compared to some people who literally all they could do is go to practice after school and that's all they had, whereas you and CJ, and sometimes I'd come over and we'd mess around in the backyard?
Yeah, absolutely. That was a help, I'd say, for you and CJ for sure. And you guys were just throwers for the most part. But for me, I guess, I'm hurdler, high jump, I'm a multi, but my hurdles is my best event. But I think having that in the backyard there to kind of talk disc with you boys, I think that's how I kind of got good at discus, because I'm long, but I'm not built like you guys in the way, and I'm not too big that I should be good at discus. But I think having that asset, I'd say, definitely made it better. Gave us the advantage.
Yeah, so kind of, I guess, sticking with kind of the high school, you said about sophomore years where you kind of, things took off for you, where you kind of realized, okay, this could be something. Kind of getting closer to junior, senior year, when did like the college offers start coming in to where you realized, hey, I'm going to take this to the next level?
Yeah, so I guess after the state meet my sophomore year, be your senior year there, I took third in the high jump. And I was getting a couple letters here and there from a couple D3 schools, YX schools mostly. And, I kind of just brushed those off. I mean, I was pretty excited about them, but, I knew that it was early. And then after my junior year, when I won 2 events, scored 34 points, and just basically went off. I was the Wisconsin Track Athlete of the Year, second D3 athlete to ever do it. That's when everything started rolling in. D1 offer after D1 offer, and at that point, I was kind of starstruck. Didn't really know what to do. That's why, I mean, I had some big off. Wisconsin was the main one. They were, but I guess just going right to why I chose North from the offers is just like I said, I was starstruck. When I went to North Dakota to visit, I was just comfortable with the place. It's like a small town feel, and that's just where I'm from. But that's why I chose there. Yeah, pretty much after my junior year is when all the big offers started coming in, where I really started seriously.
And then you said you were a multi event athlete. What events did you all do?
Well, in I did the 110 hurdles, 300 hurdles, discus, and high jump. College, I did. Oh, it's gonna be a long list. 100-meter long jump, high jump, shot put, pole vault, javelin, the mile, 400 meters. Um, sure there's some other ones, but yeah.
So in college, is it a little bit different than in high school where they kind of throw you in whatever event they think you're going to do good at? Is it that type of thing where you got to, being, especially you, how you did multiple in high school, you were that utility guy. So you had to probably make sure you were practicing every single event and being sharp on everything all the time. Would that be accurate to say that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, as a multi, it's a full-time job, honestly. You're all sets a event specialist. They come in the practice for about an hour and they get out. But me, especially at North Dakota, I was in the training room 6 hours every day. So it's definitely a job, but
So kind of sticking with the amount of events you've done, what's your favorite event that you like to do? And what's your least favorite? Being a decathlete, out of the 10 that you have to do, which one are you like, do you look forward to doing it? Which one are you just like, oh, let's get this out of the way and move on to the next?
yeah, geez. Obvious, I love the hurdles. Especially in a multi standpoint. When I'm competing against other multis, I love the hurdles because I basically kick their ass in it, even at the Division 1 level. You know, as the 10th event rolls around, the 15th, that's definitely my least favorite. I think that's the one I did. As a multi, I'm a very big person. So especially now, I'm 6'8", 215 pounds, and I'm mile against, these smaller guys. I'm just not good at it. I hate it, but my favorite for sure.
Yeah, I know, kind of, I mean, doing other sports with you, like conditioning for wrestling, just being on the football field, it was just like your strides were like three of mine, or it's just like try to keep up with you and stuff. So it's like, I guess 1500 meters, like basically being a mile, it it's probably not fun to do regardless, but it's just like at the same time, being as tall as you are, you're probably exerting a lot less energy than some of these guys that gotta go to town and try to take it what 3 steps to one of yours. So um yeah, I just want
Yeah,
to throw that in there.
So then you get to North Dakota. What's the atmosphere like there on campus? Do the track athletes are you guys like popular on campus? Do like people know who you are, or are you guys like one of the sports that kind of is in the shadows of like the hockey team and stuff like that?
Yeah, we were in the shadows of the hockey team. I mean, UND hockey is the best in the nation. And then, but just the fact, walking around every day in your track apparel and your backpack with the tags on it, you definitely look up to by everyone on campus, no matter what sport you're in, unless you're tennis or golf or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I guess just being in a sport there kind of raises your popularity, your level in that. But yeah, I'd say we're definitely looked down on to hockey there. Everything is, so they're famous people.
Yes, they are. Did you get a chance to go to the Ralph Engelstad at all and catch a game?
Yeah, I went there quite a bit. We still had to pay as students because of how much of a big deal it is. We got a discount, but yeah, I definitely went to a couple games, and now that I'm 21, I love going to games because you hit up downtown after, and it's pretty wild.
So kind of against, you said, so you went to North Dakota, kind of taking, I guess, a little bit of a step back when you're getting all these D1 offers in. What other schools did you get offers from? And I guess which ones, if North Dakota didn't work out the way it did, what other schools would you have ended up at?
Yeah. So I mean, I got letters from Wisconsin, a couple SEC schools, Oregon, Stanford. Grades weren't good enough for there, uh, but basically my top three was Wisconsin, North Dakota, and South Alabama, which is Sun Belt Conference. Um, they were recruiting me for punting and track and field, so I could have played football there too. Um, but yeah, it really narrowed down to Wisconsin and North Dakota. I just, like I said, I love the small town feel of North Dakota. Um, compared to Madison, I think that's the reason why I didn't go there, is because I was just kind of scared of the big city thing, especially from, coming from where I'm from. That's just overwhelming. But
Yeah, North Dakota's got a nice campus out there. I've been there when I was a kid. Went to a hockey camp out there in North Dakota and got to experience the whole type of thing. It really is gives you that small type of community feel where you almost like seems like you know everyone or you've seen everyone before, where it's not like, oh my God, there's so many people, I don't know where, it's like you said, it's not that overwhelming feeling. I feel like just based off of how the buildings were set up and all of that type of stuff, it seemed like it was a really kind of close knit university.
yeah, for sure, and it's relaxed, and uh, they just had a lot of nice stuff there, honestly, and the people are nice, and I just kind of fell in love with the place, honestly, because of that.
So then you talk about downtown. You got any stories where you went out and got after it?
Uh, I mean, not so much in North Dakota. I've gone downtown there. Joe Black's is a big bar there, which took second or third in the Barstool Best Bar like 2 years in a row now. Very popular. But yeah, I just gone out with my buddies there, old track teammates, and we have some fun and go back and we order some pizza, and that's usually how it rolls there.
Were you at the University of North Dakota? I know this is a little bit off topic, but were you at North Dakota when the women's hockey team got shut down and all
Yes.
of that went down? How did that go down on campus? I know that was a huge thing because their women's team was one of the top teams in the country, along like with Wisconsin and Minnesota year after year. So I was just curious how that was like being out there. I know their hockey out there is their bread and butter, like their pride. You talking about like how their hockey players are basically professionals walking around, that like that's how it is out there. Like they love their hockey.
Yeah, I think my freshman year was the first year that it got cut. Um, so a couple sports got cut, baseball got cut. But I didn't really, I was kind of just in the team, and I didn't really hear much about the reactions to it that much. I know it was a bummer. But I think people kind of just threw that off, and they're more worried about the name change because it's still fairly new. That was a big thing that everyone complains about. But yeah, the hockey thing, that was definitely a bummer. But
The name change happening. What do you think that it should have like? Are you happy with the name change, or do you think they should have kept it?
uh, just based on the history, I think they should have kept it. The circumstances that went into changing it were ridiculous. Um, I think, yeah, 50 tribes voted or something, and one said no, and they had to change it. I don't know how it really went, but I think for me, I really didn't care, honestly. Fighting Hawk, Fighting Sioux didn't really matter to me. Um, but I know if you go to a Hawk, it's still Sioux no matter what. So they
Oh yeah,
still thing there.
their jerseys were filthy, and like all their locker room and stuff. Did you guys have a facility like the hockey team to like work out and stuff? Like, did you share that, or did you guys have your own facility to work out and stuff?
Yeah, so glad you brought that up. So I think a year or two before I went there, they just built the HPC. the center, which it's a 300-meter indoor track surfaces, but it's the same surface as they use at the Olympics. It's a $30 million facility. It's probably the indoor track in the nation. So we got really lucky on that. On if you ever look it up, it's just a gorgeous facility. They're still working on it. They're tearing down. There's an outdoor football field next door. They're tearing that down and building on the locker rooms, weight rooms, everything. So it's still in the. So when I was there, it was fairly new. Wasn't much done to, but yeah, it's a gorgeous facility. We had everything we needed to really. So.
So, kind of sticking with facilities, you've been kind of around the country to a lot of different D1 meets. What was your favorite facility to compete in, either indoor or outdoor, or if you want to give one of each?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we traveled everywhere in the nation to Myrtle Beach, Long Beach, California, all over the place. I think outdoors wise, my favorite was Idaho State. I think it was pretty just gorgeous out there, rolling hills, and the facility was super nice. I'd say indoors, the facility itself at Flagstaff NAU, the facility itself wasn't the best, but just being up there in the mountains competing, that was just amazing. I never saw myself being to that, at that point, traveling and just being up in them snowy mountains, and that was pretty awesome.
Talking about traveling, going all over for track and stuff. Did you guys buses, PJs? Did you guys get there early to adjust the elevation, stuff like that, or was it kind of just, all right, school's over on Friday, hop on the bus and we're gonna head over and do the meet? Like how was that?
Yeah, that's like, I'd say that's why school was hard there. We flew everywhere. And we'd miss a lot of class. We'd get there so you could have a shakeout day from your jet lag or whatever. Yeah, we'd have a day to just relax and kind of do a little bit of a workout and then compete the next day. But yeah, we'd fly. And like one time, I had a meet in Azusa. I was doing a decathlon in California. Against some pretty crazy guys like Zach Zymek, took 6th in the Olympics. I was a pretty elite company there. But yeah, our plane got delayed in Grand Forks for quite a while. So we got there 3 a.m, I'd say, and I was supposed to have a shakeout day, that night. But I didn't really get to do that. So we got there at 3 a.m, woke up, drank a Red Bull, and was competing by 8 o'clock. And sometimes it's rough like that, depending on how it goes. But usually, yeah, you get some time, and it's a lot of time off of school.
So then when the event wraps up, are you guys heading right to the airport and heading right back home? Or if you guys do well and win, do you guys get to party in the city that you're in? Do they let you go out, that type of thing? Or is it strictly track and back?
No, they're pretty. So like the meet in Sacramento we went to, we competed, and after the meet got done, we kind of we just relaxed, and a couple of my buddies and we were just hanging out in the room or whatever, and woke up in the morning. Then we went down the old town Sacramento and visited there. Basically, just took a day to enjoy it, instead of having to worry about track. Yeah, usually we get some time to relax and hang out at meets.
That's nice. Like my buddy that we had on that played for the University of Wisconsin, he's basically said that after that they were done, unless they were like in Alaska or something, it was instantly right to the plane and heading right back to school.
Yeah, that would be rough, honestly. I mean, you gotta have some. I feel like you have to have some kind of enjoyment into it. You're traveling all around the nation, and I just feel like letting us kind of see it instead of just going to the track and back, just letting us see the areas, because I think that's really cool, honestly, for us to be able to do that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. A lot of people don't even end up leaving the state that they're in probably for most of their life. So I could, like, all of us can even say sports has gotten us to see a lot of cool places that we probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to see or experience if we weren't involved in sports. So that's really cool that they gave you the time to soak that in. That's really neat. Like, especially you're still growing up, like when you're in college, you're still growing up and figuring out who you are and stuff like that. So it's really cool to get in, seeing all these different places and experiencing a lot of different things. I think that's really, really cool that the university allows you guys to do something like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I feel like, yeah, it really made me think, like, of possible places I want to live someday. But honestly, I'm probably going to be here in Wisconsin the rest of my life. But yeah, it was cool to see those different cultures and different just landscapes and everything. It's really cool sights.
So kind of with I guess track being the sport that it is, you have hockey where at the high school level you go into college, juniors, the AHL to the NHL. Football, it's college and you work to the NFL. NBA, G League to the NBA. Track, it goes high school, college, and then there's not really like a next step unless you're talking Olympics. That's kind of like really, I guess, the next like big step. So for you, I guess at the collegiate level right now, is that something that you ever like saw yourself doing or ever tried to train for? I guess what's kind of your next step if that's something you've thought about from this spot on?
Yeah, definitely in my earlier days, coming into college, that's something that I do. Um, and I think I am capable of doing it with training and everything. I was I s- with my abilities, that that's something I could work for, but my body just at this point in my life, it can't handle it. I can't say I'm washed up right now, but just my body is kind of falling apart, just from years of doing it, especially doing the multi and everything. So I think just to save myself for the rest of my, I think college is going to be my end in track and field, but hopefully I can live in coaching. I want to coach track. I think that's the path. So
You're talking about injuries. What type of injuries and stuff are you experiencing or have you dealt with to be at the spot that you're at?
yeah, so I mean, just being my height, my knees have always been an issue. Uh, Tendonitis, it's gotten really really bad. Um, Had to do a lot of rehab. A lot of my cartilage in my knees are wearing away, um, and just a lot of just wear and tear. I guess I haven't had anything really significant, and like no torn ACLs or anything, but just a lot of, you know, my hamstrings lock up, my knees hurt, my ankles hurt, back hurts, that type of thing, and it's just wear and tear type of stuff.
Kind of, I guess, going back like a minute, you had mentioned like getting into coaching. It's funny you mentioned that because actually Mr. Kaufman had reached out to me a couple weeks back. Hey, you still in the area? We're looking for a head track coach. I'm like, oh damn. I'm like, if I was in the area, I still would be. I know you're in Ripon right now, so it'd be a hike for you, but I guess if you find yourself back in the area, hit up Mr. Kaufman. They're looking for a head track coach.
Yeah. Yeah, he messaged me too. I was like, I can't be the head track coach, but I'll try to stop up and maybe help out. But yeah, that would have been a cool job to have. I coached Coleman track the 2019, I think. I was assistant coach there, and basically ran the team. I'll be honest. I don't know how long I'm gonna watch this, but yeah,
Yeah, I know. I mean, obviously, growing up with kind of that program, with my senior year, we had like 8 guys on the team, 10 if you counted. Uh, Gunner and Blanchard coming over from baseball once in a while. So it's kind of interesting. Just like some people are like, wow, we have that many people in one event. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's our entire team. So kind of going back to, going back to that high school level to kind of, shine some light on really what you and Gunner did your junior and senior year. If you want to kind of talk about that as far as really putting Coleman track on the map and finally getting rid of those jerseys from the 1970s.
Yeah, it's very true. Um, yeah, obviously Coleman's never been more than a once in a while conference champ back in the 90s. But I think CJ and you really set the tone. I give you guys a lot of credit for me taking it seriously because I saw what you guys were doing, and I wanted to do that. So yeah, pretty much the whole team. There really is no team. There's just I think 6 guys my junior year, Miles and a couple other kids I don't remember at least, but yeah, just I think we took 5th or 6th at conference at the M&O just because it all the other kids in other schools, it just overpowers us. But just that aspect, just being small, being the underdogs, and just being a nobody, it really felt good. Gunner and I came out at 8 meet where everything kind of weeds out, where there's like 1, 2, 3, whatever kids in from each school at the state meet represent or whatever. And Gunner and I just really popped off in our events. For me, I scored 34 points my junior year. I took first in the 110s, first in the high jump, second in the 300 hurdles, and third in the disc. So that really set the tone, and to give credit, a lot of credit to Gunner. He was had to do baseball or whatever. I think he would have done much better if he focused on the track, but just his natural abilities in track and field, it really set the tone, and he scored his points, and without that we wouldn't have won. But yeah, just the two of us, that was something incredible for sure, and that's something I'll never forget.
Yeah, I know. Looking at like the papers and stuff of like Coleman winning their first meet, looking at the podium, like second place, third place, you have 10 to 20 people standing around it, and there's 2 guys alone holding a trophy on the top of the podium. And I think Sweat had mentioned last time I talked to him, he like was talking about it or whatever. And he said that when they were waiting to do like the trophy ceremony, they're like, where's the rest of your team? They're like, because they just saw the 2 of you. They're like, where's the rest of your team? We need them here to do the trophy ceremony. Like, this is it. It's just the 2 of us. So it's just like, oh, it's funny to hear that story.
So you said you had 6 guys. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Yeah.
Oh, I was about to say, so you had 6 guys on your track team when you were in high school?
Yeah, pretty sure junior year it was about 6 guys. Trying to think. Well, basically, we had a couple throwers and other guys, but the ones I remember, it was basically, Gunner, he would come by, and then Miles Kremsreiter, who I think, as a teammate, Collin knows him. He's a super good guy. He's he came to track state with us. I think, Collin, your senior.
Yeah, it's always a tradition. Right? Yeah, to like bring a freshman. We ended up bringing him freshman and sophomore year just because we liked them.
Yeah. And then I think I brought on the rest of my time. He really, that was a big deal to me. I don't want to take credit, but I think just the fact that we brought him down, we showed him what he should work for, and he really fell in love with the sport. And he went to state his senior year, and now he's doing collegiate track and field. Yeah, just talking about teammates, I definitely want to give a lot of credit to Miles. We had our backs, and he was just super good to have around.
For sure.
Do you think only having the 6 guys is what mainly made you a multi-event person? Where, say, you went to a school like where I went to school, DC Everest, and then I transferred down to Chicago when I played hockey and graduated my senior year. But the track teams had like over probably 100 kids on it, and there's probably 20 kids running, the 100 meter, doing all these different events where you really only get to focus on one, maybe two, instead of the 4, 5, or 6, whatever you were doing for your team. Do you think that was a main reason why you are or had to do multiple events, was because there wasn't the kids to do it?
I don't really think so. I think just, the decathlon is something that I really thought I could do. I'm just well-rounded in field, I guess. You know, kind of like my brother, very good shot putter, discus thrower, and Collin too, and that's what they did. But I could have specialized in just one event, and that's what I did my sophomore year. I just really did the high jump, and then just after that, I think it's not because I had to fill in or try to score more points. I wanted to do more, and then I just wanted to do the multi. I think at a bigger school, they actually have high school multis, um, and I think I would have still have done that anywhere else.
Yeah, I know. Kind of, I guess going off of that, where like I know at least my freshman and sophomore year, we're always like, because you could do up to 4 events in a meet, and so the shot and disc were always two right away. And given the lack of people we always had, the coaches are always like, "Oh, you should try this, try that, and stuff." So I'd end up doing. I think my freshman year I did like the 200 and triple jump, and then my sophomore year I did like the mile relay and the 2 mile relay, maybe. But yeah, it was kind of one of those points where going into junior year, I was like, um, at least talking to Sweat, I know some of the other coaches were always like, "Oh, you got to do other stuff." It's like, no, it's like I just want to focus on throwing. It's like, look at me, like I'm not a fucking runner. And then, I guess what they, I can't remember what meet it was at. It might have been Shawano. I think it was Shawano, the Waitman's relay. And I guess for those watching, it's basically a 4x1 relay. So 4 people run 100 meters. Catch is you all have to had to have thrown that day. So given Josh doing discus, I did shot and discus, CJ did shot and discus, and we ended up having Gunner throw shot that day, which I think he ended up placing. I think he got like 7th or 8th, which was like he's like I never thrown shot, but if I remember correctly, wasn't our 4x1 time faster than the men's actual 4x1 time that day?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. I know we broke some type of record. Well, because I mean, you look at Gunner, the dude's extremely fast. In high school, he was, he took second at state in the 100 meter. Um, I'd say I'm a pretty fast guy. I'm down around right now about 11-second 100. And then you and CJ, just because you're big guys, you guys can move. Especially then, you guys could move back then. So yeah, we should have just entered in the regular 4x1. We probably could have took a gold home in that.
Yeah, no kidding.
So you mentioned that you're at Ripon now. What involved that transfer from North Dakota back to Ripon?
Yeah. So kind of going back to the track and field as a job thing, school got pretty rough for me out there. I was just having a hard time really balancing everything. And so I took a year off of school. Kind of, I was some TC classes and stuff last year, and took a year off of track, and whatever. And I started land surveying, up in Crivets, and I kind of fell in love with that. And that's what I want to do for the rest of my life: land survey, civil engineer. But it just got to the point where I just really missed track and field. I really wanted to do it again, and also, I guess, finish my degree. So I was chatting up with Miles, who goes here also, and he does track here, and kind of just talked me into coming back and finishing my last year of track and field, last year's school, and I'm at the D3 level now, but it's definitely super hard this year, taking that time off of track and field and not really doing anything. It's been rough getting back into it. Hopefully next year with some hard work, I'll be back to where I was, and at the Division 3 level, hopefully I'll be doing some big things and could give my brother some crap about being an All-American.
So obviously you've been talking pretty much track for the last half hour. I guess if track didn't work out the way it did, what other sports would you have considered pursuing?
Football for sure. You know, I think we got gypped in high school. Uh, just the way we ran our football team. I love football for Colin. We had a great team. I love the coaches, but some parts that weren't the best. Because you look at Gunner and I being utilized as wideouts, we would have been unstoppable. But we didn't really have the personnel on our team to be able to do that. So I didn't get the most looks in football, but I think that's something I really could have been at if I had the chance in high school to get thrown. But that's no big deal. So track worked out. So
Did you ever think of playing basketball with your size? Like, were you 6'8"? Excuse me. Were you 6'8" in high school? Like, did you ever think about just playing basketball and you doing the high jump? Just you could win a state championship yourself, just dunking the ball on kids.
yeah, pretty much. I was always tall in high school. Pretty sure my driver's license I still have for my senior year says 6'6". Uh, but I think I could have really been good at it. I was class hero when it came to basketball. I went off, but just going to Colin, from the family that I'm from, having the last name Pillath, and that's But honestly, looking back, super happy that I wrestled instead of playing basketball, because the lessons in life, it taught me hard work, and at this point, it's not walk around at night anymore because I know what the hell I'm doing, when it comes to that.
Yeah, and especially I guess with your Austin, your question with Coleman basketball, that's where a lot of our athletes gravitated towards for, I guess, from football. But at least I remember it was either my junior, senior year, they had won like 2 games that year. And it was like a big deal because usually they'd either not win a game or they'd win like 1 game. And like either junior, senior year, they won 2. So like our basketball program was a shit show. And
Yeah,
I
but were
know
any of them 6'6" though, and that could jump and
some
dunk?
of them were tall. I mean, like like I remember like Blake Margus, our quarterback, he was over 6 foot.
But I'm just saying, was
Blaine,
he an athlete like Josh was? Like,
oh
clearly this
no,
kid's an athlete. So I'm just saying he could have dominated himself in basketball like that. Like, even in like how you said football, how like you wish you were utilized more as like a wide receiver / tight end. Anybody can get the ball, see one of the tallest guys out there and just chuck it up and pray. And you just go up being the athlete. That's what high school is all about. The better athlete wins in high school every time. Like, there's the hard work and all the off ice stuff. None of that matters really in high school. That's where like the college, then that next level where all that, the off ice and the training and the eating and all that stuff really makes a big deal. So somebody could have just handed you the rock and just let you go.
Yeah, that's especially in the conference that we were in. We're Marinette County, O'Connell County. There's not very many big people, I guess, and just our size, like Donovan Selesky, Gunnar Pats, myself, Collin, CJ. We're large human beings, honestly, for high school athletes, or we were, I guess. But yeah, I think if we were utilized better, we would have been unstoppable.
For sure. And even at like the tight end level, because I know I was always a tackle next to CJ, but like if I was at a bigger school, like I was 6 feet tall, 180, 190 pounds. That's like a tight end size. Like that's not a tackle. You go to like, especially once you like get into the playoffs, and you you remember that as well, as we're 40-0, 50-0, 60-0 all season against our conference, and we get to the playoffs, and then oh shit, that dude's 6'6", 250 pounds, but there's six of them on the line, and it's just like when you got Coleman and everybody's like again like you being the biggest guy in the team and me usually being the second, third biggest guy in the team, it's like I should like you said, it would have been different if we were all utilized in the correct way. But I mean, every football game
Yeah,
started Bronson 131 or 232 trap. It was either one. That was literally it. He literally advertised it. It was either going 1 hole or 2 hole for the first play of the game, and the only time we ran pass plays was a waggle on 3rd and 18 because we got a holding call or play blew up, and nobody knew how to run routes because we never practiced them, and it was just
yeah,
it was a shit show. But like you said, like
definitely.
Coleman football was fun for what it was. But yeah,
And then I mentioned before, if you had any stories about getting after it and you didn't in North Dakota, do you have any from down in Ripon there? Ripping it up downtown?
Not here. I've been pretty relaxed down here and haven't been doing much on the weekends, honestly. But I say this past, I've gone out a lot in Green Bay, and I've had a lot of fun at various bars. But I don't know. I'm more of the type of guy to drink a porter and play COD out of the times. But that's what I've been really doing on the weekends here.
so just kind of one of the last questions here, just kind of a fun thing. Obviously, being growing up from north of Green Bay, we've always been Packers fans. With the draft coming up, I don't know if you've been following it a whole lot with like who's coming in and stuff like that. But what do you see the Packers doing with the draft this year?
Yeah, I guess I don't really follow it that much, but we just need to get Rodgers some guys. Honestly, you know, I feel like our defense is okay. It kind of sucked last year, but yeah, just getting Rodgers some more help is the big thing, I'd say. But I don't know too much about it. I just kind of watch and drink more beer than watch. But I'm that kind of Packer fan.
Yeah, there's a rumor going around right now that Packers potentially are shopping Jordan Love, their first round pick, the second and potential fourth for the Patriots' 15th pick to potentially go get someone. So would you be happy to see us let Love go and secure Rodgers for the rest of his career?
Yeah, I think having Rodgers finish out Green Bay would be nice, but I don't see where watching Love I don't really fits in Green Bay. But I'm not sure what they're going to do at quarterback once Rodgers leaves. But maybe Minshew Madness will step up to Green Bay. I'd like that. Yeah, not too sure.
Yeah, I mean that's all the questions I had. Austin, I don't know if you have any more before we let him go.
Yeah, just one more. If there was any, like, I know North Dakota and Wisconsin are the two schools that offer you, but say you had offers to every single school in the country, would you have still went to North Dakota and had Wisconsin as your number two, or was there another place on your list that it would have been like, oh my God, this school is like is there anything like that?
Uh, I don't know really. I guess looking back at it, I would change my decision just from the friends that I've made, lifelong friends. So, you know, so look, I'm really happy that I chose North Dakota and work out fully there. I still am that I was there a couple years. I really made a lot of good connections and uh, and that's all that matters to me.
Yeah, absolutely. The sports world is a tight knit community, and those connections are important all throughout life. You'll never know when you may. Oh, I know a guy that. You know what I mean? Those connections are huge, just like you
Right.
said. It's amazing meeting all the people that you got
Yep.
to meet, and well. But yeah, thanks for coming on, man. We really appreciate you giving up however long this has been. Probably like what, an hour,
45 minutes.
45 minutes.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, guys. This was good. Good to reminisce on all those good times, honestly.
For sure. Well, take care. Hopefully we'll cross paths soon in the future. Actually moving back over the area, moving to Fond du Lac next month. So I'll be actually Fond du Lac and Ripon are a hop, skip, and jump from each other. So maybe
Yeah,
I'll have to come visit sometime and maybe come watch you compete or something.
yeah, for sure. That'd be awesome.
Sounds good. Well, you take care, man.
Yeah, thanks. Take care.